So there's an application called Slack. You can go check it out, slack.com. And what it is it's basically the first time the world ever saw that, using, I would call it from where I am, it would be like IRC, Internet Relay Chat. So like chat-based project management instead of email, right? And the convenience of that is that everybody has an avatar or an identity inside the application, and you can see when people read things, and you don't have to ask, have they confirmed that they've read it, because it shows that they've read it. And each chat room would be like a project or like a group, and it's way easier to manage, and that's Slack. Microsoft came up with Microsoft Teams as a competition to Slack, which is, if you're using Office 365, is an easier transition. And like I said, I'm going to talk very, specific about applications and such, because I feel like just saying motivational things isn't enough. I have to have practical solutions. So obviously these are practical solutions. So accountability. If you were to take your business and you were to look at it 10 years ago and you just started using, or say 20 years ago, and you just started using email. Email is super convenient. We totally understand what it's for and where it came from, right? But speed of business is caught up with, just email. And that's why a lot of things like Slack and Microsoft Teams and even Zoom, which is like a face-forward video conferencing chat room, they've gotten more utilized in modern business because of accountability. One of my favorite things to talk about, because I know that is something that actually helps make money. Like helps lean out a business and helps you figure out your profit centers and your profit in general and just revenue better, is because time is money. And sending an email with an expectation that it's read and replied within whatever you made up before you hit send is ridiculous, right? Because, I can go down this path all the time. I love making fun of email. I'm sure people know that by now, anybody that knows me. And that's just because, did you get my email? Well, no, my mailbox got my email. Did I read it is the question you're asking. And if I haven't read it yet, why haven't I replied? And these are things that are private to me as an identity inside my business and as a person. Or else we'd all have transparent mailboxes, right? And then, so that's how we can hide behind certain things. It's mystery. Hiding behind mystery is denying accountability in a lot of ways, right? So if you have a team and they're all working together, then there should be no mystery. So when you have something like Slack or Microsoft Teams, you can see when people read something. You don't have to ask if they read it or saw it. You know that they read it or saw it by looking into the window into the chat room at the same time as everybody else. And so accountability, I have to have one of these statements again of how do I, get someone to acknowledge that that's why they haven't adopted a modern method, is because they deny accountability. And here we go. The minute you start using an application that makes everybody in a team accountable for everything, no one can lie, right? They can't hide behind the mystery of their business operation anymore. It's all forward and it's all seen. So you could see who hasn't done something or hasn't acknowledged something. And so those people that want to remain unaccountable will deny implementing an accountability application such as Microsoft Teams or Slack, and they'll stick with email. And then they'll stick with voice calls because, being present in a situation, maybe you don't look at your phone right at that time, understandably so. But if you think that you're going to be able to handle 1,000 projects and 1,000 jobs by voice alone, and that you might think you can do it with email and voice calls and maybe even text messaging to some extent, which I totally disagree with because that's silo-based as well. But in terms of like a team, and I can go off on a tangent here, like a lot of the new business, the value that a team member gives you is because they're communicating with other teammates together, solving a problem. And so if you only have silo-based communication, that denies that team building exercise, right? But so lots to talk about here, but always remember that I'm almost certain, because I've had some business owners admit certain things. And I'm not saying that's a weakness. I'm saying that that's progress. So they've had admitted to me that one of the reasons that they don't want to implement, new project management or time control application is because they can't hide in the mystery of, their own schedule anymore, which is wrong. because competitively, team-based transparency is an advantage, right? So remember, there's like, I got the yeses and the nos and the maybes, and the people, and the nos and the maybes over here and the yeses, and the people that have said yes to project management, team building, applications, and a philosophy are they're outperforming the nos and the maybes that haven't adopted that as a modern method. So if you want to just stick with email, you know where I'm going with this. If you are just going to stick with email, you are not as competitive right now.